With very short notice, I got the opportunity to talk to Kurt Budge, the new CEO of Leading Edge Materials, for a couple of minutes. So this is our 15-minute talk at the Nordic Mines Conference at Sheraton on the 26th of September 2024. So here's the talk, and please excuse the poor sound quality.
Yeah, thanks for supporting the company, because I know you invested recently.
Yeah. Yesterday you announced that drilling has finally commenced.
Yeah.
So what can you say about the timeline going forward from here? Or when do you expect to be able to say something?
So, yeah, it's great news that the drill rig finally got working. We got delayed over the summer because the rig wasn't there. And then the measures we had to take to make sure that there could be safe operation, safe for our employees and what have you, needed to put in place. So that's all been done. They're underground and the rig started turning. Just as a quick recap, Bihor Sud is really exciting in the terms that we are actually able to get underground. So instead of exploring for something from surface, by different methods, geophysics and what have you, we're actually able to get into the guts of something. And we're benefiting from the fact that the Soviets, in terms of their exploration program for uranium, developed lots of underground tunnels. So as long as we can get in safely, put our employees in there safely, the geologists, in advance of the drilling, have been able to do all the observations, do the sampling. Now the rig is in there, and what we're hoping is we're able to put some intercepts and some scale on both in the first gallery, G2, nickel cobalt mineralization that was identified and talked about in news releases at the end of 2023. And then with the next gallery, G7, for the nickel cobalt. And then when we move to G2, we have access to 8 kilometers of underground development. And within G2, we also have significant hundreds of meters of polymetallic mineralization, lead, zinc, silver, and copper, that's been observed by geologists. So now we're going to start drilling in that after G7. And so in terms of the timeline, clearly the rig has only started turning, but we get the observation data back from geologists as the core comes out of the ground. But in terms of assays, we're probably looking at a couple of months away from actually getting any assays that we can report grades on, I would say.
How much do you get your hopes up from these small assays, these superficial assays? Do they say anything? I mean, since you're underground anyway, maybe they say more than...
So I'm from a mining background, so I tend to really get excited when I know we've got something to mine. What is exciting about Bihor Sud is the fact that it's a historic mining area, and that we have access to all this underground development. So you've got somebody, the Soviets, who didn't really have to raise money from capital markets, it was state money, that put this money into doing lots of development, which we are benefiting from. So if we find the deposit, we are in the guts already of being able to drill towards what we believe are different targets. We have a geologist that's been working on this project for decades, in his 70s. So his knowledge of the area and the geology and the potential for exploration success is significant, and we're leveraging that. We also have, historical data that we're now starting to get our hands on, and which we're able to analyze and interpret, and that's informing what our exploration program should be. So there are lots of ticks in boxes. It's a historic mining area. We're already underground. We're not trying to explore from surface. And we've already had some exciting grade information with the cobalt nickel at the end of 2023. And we've already got interesting observations around the polymetallic mineralization. And we're also starting to dig into the historical records as well. So you've got lots of advantages here in to be able to run a successful exploration program. It's exploration, so it's high success, but we've got some of the key ingredients for that success.
How high quality information do you think it's possible to get within, let's say, the end of the year?
I couldn't give you an exact number of how many meters we're going to drill. The program as it stands at the moment is trying to take the information from the drilling that we're doing at G7. And once we've done enough work there, then we will transition to G2. What I'm most happy about is the fact that the drill is turning, and then we're starting the work after having the frustrations over the summer. So as soon as we get information that is meaningful and that we need to disclose to the market, then I'll be making sure that investors know about that.
And let's say everything goes as planned, and what's the timeline after that for example, permitting in the area?
It's one step and then the next step. The first step is to get the body of work in terms of exploration results, and then see whether or not we can define a resource around that, come up with a mineral resource estimate, and then broadly come up with some sort of economic analysis about whether or not that stacks up before we move on to the next stage of permitting in Romania.
But are you in like early discussions with the authorities in having an idea of how long things might take? Or I mean, I got the impression that when you got the permit to start looking, that was a little bit of a surprise. And that could mean either that things are going forward faster than usual, or that first part was a one-off.
We have a strong local partner who currently owns 49% of the company. We as a company can move to 90%. They are a good handholder with regards to navigating permitting. Most of my experience today has been of permitting mining projects in Sweden and Finland, and also exploration in Kosovo in my previous company. There is no certainty around permitting, whichever jurisdiction you operate in. So I think we're benefited again in a jurisdiction like Romania by having a strong local partner who could guide us through that. And as soon as we get that exploration success, as soon as we want to move on to the next stage of permitting, then I think they're a good partner to help us with that. But in terms of assessing at this stage how quickly that could happen, it's again, I'm not going to prejudge that.
And would you say that your main focus is on Bihor Sud, or what's your take on the other projects?
Since I joined the company, my focus has been on Norra Kärr. So I'm very lucky that our board were able to divide and conquer tasks. So Eric Kraft and Daniel Major, two board members, have clearly been working on Bihor Sud for a significant period of time before I arrived, and they have been assisting me in terms of managing our interactions with our Romanian partner, and we've got a good local team as well. So that has been looking after itself. The deliverables for this year in terms of Norra Kärr were, number one, to get a strategic project application into the EU. You're probably aware that the Critical Raw Materials Act came out earlier this year. The opportunity to apply for strategic project status is a game changer, or it would be a game changer for the development path of Norra Kärr, in my view. So that was job number one. Job number two after that is to submit a new mining lease for Norra Kärr. The project, again, as investors are probably aware, had a mining lease in 2013 for a much more complex project, which had both upstream and midstream processing, industrial processes taking place at site. That got a mining lease. What happened with the introduction, with new investments in 2021, or just prior to 2021, redesign of the project. So you now have a decoupling of the mining operation from the midstream industrial processes. So the strategic project application has gone in for the mining operation. The mining operation is, in essence, a quarry. It's producing a heavy rare earth concentrate and industrial mineral nepheline cyanide. Whereas most people's understanding of quarries is they're producing aggregates for construction. So this is, in all essence, a quarrying operation with physical processing on site. And then you're exporting your UDLI concentrate to be further processed at an industrial facility, which, conceptually in the technical work that's been done to date, is identified as Luleå. And so it'll be sited on an industrial site zoned for those kind of activities, able to permit and control industrial chemical processes. So a much more fitting setting. And my view is, by decoupling the mining project from the midstream processing project, we're going to be able to expedite both permitting timelines.
Oh, so those will be two different permitting applications processes?
Yeah, because when we submit the
body deciding
the exploitation concession, yes, the exploitation concession application goes to the mining lease goes to Bergstadt, but Bergstadt then doesn't approve the permitting for the industrial project.
That's good news. And when do you hope to get any kind of significant answers from any of your projects?
So, with Norra Share, strategic project status will be decided by the EU. Is now mid-March in 2025. It was previously suggested they would get done by the end of the year, but they've received 170 applications. Norra Share is the most advanced heavy rare earth project in Europe. It's globally significant because it's heavy rare earths going to green technologies, but also defense. Defense is clearly at the front of mind for many of us these days because of the geopolitical situation. So we can hit key milestones in the next year on Norra Share, first strategic project status, then getting the mining lease. It's my thought process with regards to the development timeline is that I want to find all ways of looking at opportunities to accelerate the project development path. The EU is looking at strategic projects as being able to come on stream and make a meaningful contribution to EU demands by 2030. You know, that's at the outside. I'm looking at other ways that we can accelerate that. So you've got Norra Share with its strategic status within the EU. With Voxner's kind of, I'm turning my attention to Voxner, the graphite mine now. It's a built and permitted mine. Graphite is a critical raw material again. It's of strategic importance. EU relies heavily on both graphite concentrate, but also anode materials. They're coming from China at the moment. So my focus is, Voxner has been on care and maintenance for a number of years. How do we commercialize that asset? So turning my attention to that now. And again, hope to make good progress on Voxner in the next 12 months. And then with Bihor Sud, it's an exciting exploration program. You know, we've got both the findings for cobalt nickel in G7, and then we're going to turn our attention to G2. But for all those boxes I ticked with you around, it's a brownfield exploration program. We're already underground. There's a lot of historic information that we can leverage to inform our exploration plans. It's really exciting, and I'm hoping that the news flow, you know, back into this year, beginning of next year, is going to come. So there are a number of different things that can excite the market about leading edge.
And considering that these things take 10 to 20 years, and you already have 10 to 20 years in the making, and you're now talking about maybe 1 to 2 years in terms of news flow, actual actions and permits and real answers. Are you reviewing your information policy in any way, or?
In answer to your question, yes. So that's one of my responsibilities, is to make sure that the investor community is well aware of the progress that we're making and our level of excitement about the company. Yeah, I think we've got, across the 3 areas of the business, Norra Share, the heavy rare earths project, what's happening in Romania with our exploration there, and also what we can make happen with Voxner. I think we're going to have lots to talk to the market about.
Can you say anything at this point, which metal you think will be primary or most exciting in Bihor Sud?
That's an easy question to answer. No.
Okay,
no.
Okay, cool. And just a final, a little bit silly recommendation from my point is that I am excited that Bihor Sud actually is in Transylvania, and that you're also, of one of the metals are looking at silver. I mean, these are things that could garner attention from the media, just being like in vampire country and looking for silver.
I have no comment to make about vampire country, but definitely silver was talked about at this conference yesterday by AUAG Fonden.
Yeah.
And they were then on a panel with a Moroccan silver player, Aya, and the whole half an hour, 45 minutes was on silver. Now, in my career, I've never really focused on silver, but it's definitely a key feature of what we're encountering in Romania. And if we can produce some good grade information, then I wouldn't mind having that in the portfolio. That would be a really good thing.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.